I already did that. So this is what it's like in the editorial.
I'm illustrating your point. I'm illustrating your point because I just gave you an idea that you've already run. So
yeah, and I just rejected it.
You don't want to like. Okay, so say you wrote a piece for Crunchyroll.
Oh, here's a good example. We have one coming up next week. Nick Creamer wrote about Lost Village actually being a comedy, and it's the season's best comedy, right? So that's fun. Go with that.
Do you want me to pitch it to you?
No. That's a feature.
Okay, well, so if you write about how the Lost Village is actually a comedy, and Crunchyroll says, yeah, we'll take that, and they have it ready to run publication like 2 weeks from then, and then you run it by A&N, and you're like, hey, you want to run this? And they're like, yeah, and then they run it like a week from then. So Crunchyroll is going to be pissed if they saw this on A&N when they were going to run it next week. So you don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. The other thing is you can't sell. It's important that it's not the same idea. So if you go to Crunchyroll and say, I want to write about the Lost Village being a secret masterpiece, and then you come to me and say, I want to write about the Lost Village being a secret masterpiece, and then they both go up, we're just both going to be mad at you and probably not hire you again. So just be careful of that stuff. I think I've got you already. You there in the rad-ass Death Parade cosplay. That is awesome, man. I love that show. Good on you. All right, what's your question?
I just want to know, in terms of content, how far outside of anime specifically will you step? I.e., right now, Final Fantasy is kind of treading the line with.
Yeah, bring the Final Fantasy. Like, if anime fans care about it, and it's from Japan, that's actually kind of important.
If it's from Japan, like there was a thing where we were asked if we wanted to cover some Legend of Korra stuff, and we were like,
aside from Legend of Korra,
that's a great area. For the most part, it's from Japan, and it's sort of nerd pop culture. Like, we try to field into it a little bit. And JRPGs, like, absolutely, like, that's basically anime.
The evergreens for video games are Final Fantasy and Metal Gear Solid. So we're right about those. Usually people are looking for editorial based on that. Video games in specific, just pay attention to what's big right now. And more than likely, if you pitch features, actually video game editorial features are kind of hard to come by, especially on anime sites. So if you want to write about those video games from an anime fan perspective, that's valuable. And I would tell you, like, nurture that. Think about that stuff. It's a good idea. Got you in the back right there. You pointing at yourself. You have a beard and sunglasses on your head.
You should start with beard and sunglasses.
Okay. I'd rather one.
So, most people here have not worked with an editor before.
Yes.
I'm talking a lot about breaking into the industry. What would you tell us to expect from a writer-editor relationship, and how exactly does that relationship dynamic play out?
Okay. Let's see. Have you ever seen The Devil Wears Prada? It's only a little like that.
Is it an anime?
Yes. It's my favorite anime. The writer-editor relationship it's down to a person. The biggest piece of advice I always give people is just don't be precious about your writing. Don't act like it's holy scripture. Don't act like it can't be changed. And your editor will likely get along with you really well. Try to be friendly with your editor and be open to their suggestions and changes. Taking editorial feedback is tough early on in your career because it feels like you're just getting slammed a lot. And if your editor is just doing his job, literally just doing his job, it's going to feel like he's attacking your work. So you have to let go of the personal attachment to it and see it as work. This is my job. The job is to make the editor happy with what you're producing so that he pays you to publish it. The job is not get my unfettered, completely unmolested writing through the system and on the front. Like, that's not your goal. Your goal is to get paid by the editor, so you do want to make the editor happy. I say that as an editor, but that's the way it is. If you turn in a piece and I'm not happy with it, I'm just going to kill it. I'm going to pay you half of what I owe you, and then I'm not going to hire you again. So being able to take editorial feedback. Also, being able to hit your deadlines is the most important the most important skill that you will learn. If you find that you struggle with deadlines, if you treat your deadlines like you treat, say, homework, you're going to get into a lot of trouble because you're going to wind up doing it only when you have to. You treat it like doing chores. Your relationship with deadlines has to be healthy, and it doesn't have to be healthy, and it likely won't be, but it needs to be functional. It needs to be functional.
Right.
Yeah. You can have a dangerous breaking relationship with deadlines, but it has to be functional.
And be honest, if you are having trouble with deadlines, don't like say, well,
Yeah.
I sent it to you and it just disappeared, or well, I guess I'm
Something wrong with my email, man.
Yeah.
I tried to send it to you 3 days ago.
Honestly, if I received an email from somebody who said, hey, I waited till the last minute and I'm gonna need an extra day, I'm so sorry. I'd be fine. I'm like, okay, you screwed up. Everybody screws up. We're human. If I say like, I'm gonna turn it into you more tomorrow because my internet's spotty and I know it's not, like.
Oh yeah. I had a person tell me that they didn't have time to finish their assignment. Then I ran into them on Overwatch. I was playing Mercy. I refused to heal it.
He's like out in the field. He's like, I'm dying. So am I, because I don't have the peace I need.
And you don't have what you need. Right there. Oh, I think I got you. I'm trying to get people I have got. You in the blue, right there.
More or less, continuing on what you just said, what kind of timeline do you have for your works? Like, for your deadlines, like,
Right.
Like you were saying, 800 word things?
Well, I try to work with the writer. I will ask them what's reasonable for you. I don't let anything go out past 2 weeks. For full-length reviews, when you get, say like I hand you a DVD screener, we want it within 72 hours. We want that review within 72 hours. Daily streaming is 24 hours, and that's a hard deadline. Feature editorial, we set a deadline. Yeah, feature editorial, say like you came to me today, I would say, okay, can you have that to me July 6th by 7 p.m.? And you would say yes or no, and then that's how it would go. But in general, 1 to 2 weeks. If you're speaking to me about a piece, you're not just in the planning stages on your own, yeah, it's gonna be quick. All the way in the very back, in the green, yeah.
You mentioned editorial management careers. Can you speak more about that?
Yes, I absolutely can. Thank you for reminding me. I really appreciate that. Editorial management is the job that you could potentially have if you decide to go into writing for a living, which means you won't really be doing a lot of writing anymore. You'll be paying who used to be you to write for you. That's the job that you can really get. If you are working full-time at, say, a video game website, you will be doing that. You'll be managing a bunch of freelancers. You're not just going to be playing video games and writing reviews. The more you get involved in management at any publication, the further you get away from the thing that that publication covers, because your thing is now people. Your thing is now managing people. My job is mostly managing people. What that means is that in order to get into that career, you need to take opportunities to manage people. Get into situations, and if you're in college right now, get into clubs and take leadership roles if you can. Manage those people skills. People skills are unbelievably important in this line of work. I can't stress it enough. If you fancy yourself the alcoholic hermit writer, that's great, but you better put a smile on when you're emailing me. It better happen.
You need to know that you need to have the exact social skills necessary to properly handle a situation when you run into one of your writers on Overwatch who's not completed their assignment.
Yeah.
You can not heal them as mercy, that's acceptable, but you don't want to go off on them and then have
And that's the other, so those are very important skills. The other thing is those are jobs where you need to keep an eye out for hiring. And if you can get an entry-level position in editorial or marketing at some place, that is probably going to be your ladder into editorial management. The job market is very strange for digital publishing right now, so keep an eye on anything labeled editorial, anything, and you might find your way up into an editorial management position. In the front.
Hi.
Yeah.
Considering you guys are engaged, I was wondering what kind of challenges you guys face, not just both being within the same company and probably being kind of at different levels, but also considering the kind of company this is, not just like if you were just, writing for a newspaper. It's very passionate.
Like working together?
Yeah, and like just the challenges you face and
Oh, right.
Same
I was
Yeah.
taking this.
Yeah.
So, we have both in different regards become the kings of patience. because we need to figure out when we're discussing work, when discussing personal stuff, when we're done discussing work, when stuff is urgent, and basically like, if you are ever in a situation where you're, you know, maybe you're not working with somebody you're going to marry, that's maybe a little less common, but you may be, and if you're in a startup like sort of position, like working with somebody professionally who is a buddy of yours, like that's likely that you'd be working with your buddy. And splitting up buddy time and work time and not conflating the two too much is essential.
Yeah.
Because the work stuff can get gnarly and direct and kind of cutting and intense, and it's not personal. But it can't be, well, okay, it has to be work. So, you know, like, well, you're my friend. You have to split those two apart, and you have to be able to communicate well enough to know when you're talking about one or the other. Like, hey, are we talking about work right now, or, you know, whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Be patient and keep stuff, like, separate as best you can.
Yeah, like, you also just have to accept that, like, you're gonna fight.
Oh,
It's gonna fight.
It's gonna happen.
Like, occasionally it's gonna be the giant cartoon dust cloud with, like, a boot flying out of it. Like, sometimes it's just gonna be like that. Like, editorial, and actually this is a really good point, editorial is absolutely, thank you very much, absolutely blood, sweat, and tears. 100%. You're gonna fight, it's gonna suck, you're gonna really struggle, you're gonna get writer's block, you're not gonna have any ideas. This season's anime is gonna be garbage, and there's nothing to write about. Yeah, it's all gonna happen, man, and it's gonna be crap. But then you're gonna be at the premiere of something that you really love, and your review will get read by 10,000 people, and there will be 400 comments, and you'll feel great. You'll feel really great. You'll feel really good. In the middle, with your hand in the hoodie. Yeah, you. No, you.
Yeah. What's the most important thing to pay attention to if you're writing for a new audience? If you get assigned something with like a specific crowd?
With a really specific crowd, find out what they want. Go look at what other people who have pleased that audience have done, and if that audience has a place they hang out, go hang out there for a little while and find out what they like. That's super important. Do yourself a real big favor though, don't dive into their subculture and then try to write from the perspective of their subculture without legitimately being a part of it, because they will smoke you out.
You need to marinate it in it like a mud puppy, like you've seen a little like mudfish that like you need to marinate in it, but then you need to come out and wash yourself off and be yourself. So
Yeah.
like you need to know what you're talking about, but not try to be like, hey, what are you?
Yeah, it's like, hey,
No.
kids, you know.
Hello, fellow children.
Behind that guy, directly behind the guy who was raising his hand before you, you're holding the camera? Yeah, go ahead.
I've seen YouTube videos of live reaction and all that getting lots of views. Do you think that they make more money? And like you said, talk about how raw emotions kind of fell. And so I thought that.
Okay, I apologize. I didn't quite
Bless
catch.
you, Sneezer.
You think that raw emotions fell? Do you think that live reaction, like how YouTubers do it, can sell more than
Live reaction, right? Reaction videos. I think that's mostly a YouTube thing. Like editorial doesn't really seem to.
Those
dabble.
people aren't making money. I mean, like, so there's PewDiePie, obviously, but like, for the most part, like, people who are doing that are enjoying, like, when I first started doing video review stuff, like, I wasn't making money doing that, I was garnering audience, which is valuable, that can lead to money, but all on its own, the whole YouTube live reaction thing, like, it's mostly, like, people in their teens and early 20s who are just enjoying the community and enjoying the fan base and stuff like that, and that's great, it's valuable, it can lead to work in the future, but for a publication like ours that is trying to basically generate revenue and interest and stuff like that, that's not based on the cult of one personality, it's based on like a bunch of writers that represent Anime News Network as a thing, it's not really valuable, it's like the live reaction video stuff, you know.
Yeah, also, this is really important distinction that there's two things here that are really important to separate. There are cults of personality people, and then there are writers. I assume everyone in here wants to be the writer. If you want to be cult of personality, that's different. Go to VidCon and learn about it there. I can't help you with cult of personality stuff, but reaction videos I haven't seen do anything outside of YouTube.
Yeah.
The hand that's up, next to him. Yeah. Sure, yeah, okay, you in the front. We'll get to both of you, we got time for both. The purple, yeah.
Yes, sir. I was more like, how do you balance out schedule with workload?
Oh my gosh, I don't.
Work until I pass out, and then when I have no more work to do something that's not stressful, like that I really enjoy, and then rinse and repeat.
I do my relaxing at 4:20 p.m. Otherwise, I'm good. And then the other guy, yeah, in the back, yeah, you then, yeah.
When editing an anime review, what are some key points to look for?
When editing an anime review,
Yeah.
flow, clarity, making sure that they back up their points. It has to be supported by the show itself. So, thank you. If we're making an assertion, if you're making an assertion, that better be backed up by something. You better give me an example. Otherwise, like, this is dumb because this guy went over here and did this and blah 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 or whatever. Yeah, that you need to back it up, and it needs to be logically sound. Like, and I hate to use the word logic because man, people bust that out when it comes to reviews. They're going to be like cinema sins or whatever. I hate that. Just support your point. It needs to make sense, and you have to back it up. So that's what I keep an eye out for. Also, entertaining. That's a big one. Yeah.
A lot of people sometimes when they start reviews on or commentary on something, they end up like not liking said things. Are you able to like still enjoy anime even after?
Oh yeah. You know, like, so this is my 16th consecutive anime expo, my 15th year coming for work. So my relationship with anime has changed a lot over the years, but it ebbs and flows. Sometimes you go through burnouts, sometimes you don't. Right now, I think anime's great. Like, I'm really enjoying it. 3 years ago, if you'd asked me that, I would have said like, eh. But you know, it comes and goes, like any other job. So long as, like, you can tell when your fire really goes out, when you're not into something anymore. I would hope that when that happens, that person would exit the field. But you do have to keep an eye on it and maintain it, and that relationship absolutely changes.
I want to.
Go ahead.
No, actually working full time with anime as of like a year or so ago. Like, obviously writing about anime for 6 or 7 years, but really just full-time editorial has actually really boosted my interest in anime, and even watching stuff that I like less or whatever, and try to keep track of the conversation, because I'm always thinking about how I can apply this to my job. So I'm like, well, even if I don't like this show, like, this has a really like devoted and with an interesting perspective fan base, so I'm always trying to figure out how I can basically produce interesting content about all the different stuff that's coming out. So I'm actually more into anime now than I ever was. It's just that my relationship with it is completely different. I'm just looking at it from a work perspective, but I'm enjoying it. So.
There's one important thing I wanted to bring up. We have about 3 minutes left, and I really wanted to talk about this, which is taking jobs for exposure, whether or not you should write for free. This is what you should do. I feel like this is the attitude you should have about this. Do you want to be taken advantage of? Be knowledgeable of the fact that you're going into that situation, being taken advantage of, and there's a slight chance that it might benefit you. But if you want to roll the dice, write an article for them for free, see if you get anything out of it, cool, but just make sure you set your expectations. Like, this company thinks they're getting something from me for free, and they are, just this once, maybe twice. If I like working with them, I'll keep doing it. But do it on your terms, and your terms only. Don't let them use you. Don't let them make you feel like you're a bad person for not taking more assignments. Don't let anybody make you feel bad for suggesting that you deserve money for your hard work, because you do. And like, nobody works for A&N for free. Be self-possessed and confident in your skill, and totally love you. So we got time for probably one more quick one. Right here in front.
Okay. What do you look for when it comes to somebody pitching interview articles?
An interview article. Okay, gotta be. Hopefully, it's Japanese professional creative. That's really what we look for. well-known or up-and-coming English dub actor is totally fine, but it needs to be a professionally produced interview, hopefully about 500 to 800 words, hopefully, and you need to have a nice introduction. You know how Rolling Stone does an interview?
Yeah.
That's really hard to get to because you need access to the artist for like a day to do that, but if you can get close to emulating that style, every editor in the country will love you. So yeah, those are good things. This is also really good advice. If you can get press credentials for your blog at an anime convention like this, say like you're just here, I'm pressed, but I don't know what to do. Try to get interviews and try to turn those interviews into something of quality. Like put time and effort into them, publish them, and then show them to people like me. And the odds that you might get hired if you're really good at going to cons and taking good interviews, yeah man, almost every publication can use somebody like that. So that's a great question. I'm glad you brought it up. That wraps me up. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Hey guys, before you guys leave, can you go ahead and answer his question? Like his hand kept going up and you kept going right past him. Good.